we're gone. We love technology, really, I do. I love it when it works. I think it's awesome. And I want to welcome you all to our Discover 3 Smart Reasons to Start an Online Business. I was just speaking with somebody today, and she had actually said she looked at our suppliers several years ago, but really liked the way that we do it. So I think you're going to get some good information and see whether or not this may be a possibility for you. Are you concerned about job security or income growth? I mean, in some ways, who isn't, right? In this decade, I mean, even millionaires are concerned, believe it or not. So, do you wish you could invest and save more for your retirement, or college for your kids, or maybe a home that's more appropriate for your family, but you don't earn enough to put away what you'd like to save? It seems to be something coming at that money, right? You get a couple grand or $5,000 saved up, and boom, there's an expense, which is still better than putting it on credit. Many people are not prepared for retirement. In fact, nearly 7 in 10 Americans have less than $1,000 in savings. There's actually something now called Millionaire Poverty. And it used to be, the idea was, if you could save $1 million, you'd have enough in the compound interest and all that good stuff to live pretty comfortably in your retirement years. And especially in the last 2 decades, that has really changed. And believe it or not, $1 million in savings is no longer considered enough for retirement. When you think about how long that takes, it's crazy. So again, I was shocked to discover how many people cannot save even for an emergency, especially if you've got kids, and you've got kids always seem to be generating an emergency themselves. But if you ever get into a car accident or run into some kind of financial crisis, you know that life could be difficult. And I know that some people consider, they kind of call that living by faith, but it's really living on the edge. Living by faith does not mean not being prepared financially. So then that begs the question, what's the best way to start building a nest egg for your future? And investment expert Robert Kiyosaki recommends that you start your own business. If you have not read his books, they are all excellent and really been huge influence on me. So thank you again for taking the time out of your schedules to join our live training webinar. And we know your time is valuable. We're going to keep it pretty brief. I hope I don't move too fast. And there's going to be time for questions. And at the end, there's going to be a gift for you. So this webinar is for someone, if you're concerned about saving a nest egg for retirement or college or some other life project, you're worried about long-term job security. I think job security isn't around anymore. You want to get more tax benefits than you have now. Everybody's starting to look at those taxes and saying, what? You're serious about getting ahead for your family. And if any of those apply to you, you are in the right place. So as a way of thanking you for staying to the end of this webinar, we're going to be giving you a link to this workbook that'll help you review the content after the class is over. And in the meantime, if you have any questions, I'll be checking the chat as I can, and I'll be sending you a copy of this recording. You'll have that too. So what are you going to learn tonight? What are we going to talk about? Well, why most people struggle to get ahead. The best way to save and get ahead. 3 reasons to start an online business. The turnkey system that we recommend with to start online, and more. So the last few years have been a decade of tremendous corporate profits. Isn't that funny how that works sometimes? Corporations can make a lot of money, but somehow that doesn't seem to filter down to people. And for the mass majority of North Americans, their income growth has been not as fast. And many economists believe that with this new economy, especially with the new corporate tax cuts, there will be some relief for people. But I think one of the issues that compounds things is that Americans carry a huge amount of consumer debt. Most do. And I think it comes from those times of having to live, not being able to get ahead. You have an emergency, you pull out the credit card. So this results in people working more hours than they ever have before. Americans work a lot of hours, and on many occasions, working more than one job or getting a side gig. So it is now almost impossible to have only one job in the family and make ends meet on a modest middle income lifestyle. So many households need more than just three incomes to survive. And ironically, having all these jobs and being as busy as that, you might not even be able to save the extra money you want. And why is that? Well, tax laws. I don't love taxes, I have to admit. You see, tax laws can make it difficult for most people to get ahead. As an employee, you are actually picking up the brunt of the tax burden because you don't have a lot of tax shelters. And that is one thing that distinguishes the rich, if you will, from the middle class, is the rich tend to have businesses, not always, right? But they have more ways to shelter income from taxes, even though they have a higher tax rate and overall pay more in taxes. So you have to pay the government first, and then you get to try to live on what's left over. I mean, right? How many of you get your pay stubs and you look at that and you see the Social Security taken out, state taken out, sometimes city tax taken out, city, state, federal, right? Social Security. With your own business, you can actually pay your expenses first, and then the government gets what's left over. I hope that equation. And that's why Sandy Bakken, who is a CPA attorney and former trainer of IRS attorneys, recommends that people start a home-based business. And we rely heavily on his information. He's excellent. Even entrepreneur and daredevil Richard Branson, you know him, he's Virgin Airlines, and what else does he do? Virgin Records, he's like a billionaire, has a message to working parents seeking more time with their children. Work from home. In fact, there are currently more than 30 million people working from their homes. And this number is expected to keep on growing and will continue to be one of the greatest mass movements in the country. Interestingly enough, this movement of working from home was predicted by a man named Alvin Toffler back in the 1980s. He called it the third wave. He said more and more people and technology is going to make it easier for them to work from home. So starting an online business from your home is one of the best types of businesses you can choose, actually. Starting a business online has some great benefits because you can work it around your current job. Its very nature is that it's flexible that way and mobile, and you can get started for less than $500. Now, you've probably heard that e-commerce is exploding, and I have a few statistics for you. If you've been to any of my webinars, you know I love statistics. How many of you know that on Black Friday, just this past Black Friday, over $5 billion in the United States alone was spent on Black Friday, and just a couple of days later on Cyber Monday, that number jumped another $6.5 billion. So in those 4 days, over that last weekend in November, $11 billion was spent online. And how many of you have heard about brick and mortar stores closing? And it's not that, that's not necessarily a reflection of a bad economy as much as it is a shift in how people are now conducting their businesses and their purchases, right? So, so spending online continues to rise each year as each year passes, and online businesses are continuing to see explosive growth. In fact, it's expected to grow by another 17% by 2022. So that's just what, 4 years from now? So Chinese billionaire Jack Ma thinks that 80% of business will be done online in the near future. How many of you have heard about Jack Ma? How many of you know who he is? Just put in the chat if you've ever heard of Jack Ma. Put a yes if you've heard of him, or no. He is a multi-technology magnate. He's worth about $41 billion US currency. And how many of you, if you've heard of Alibaba or the Alibaba group, that's like China's Amazon, that's Jack Ma. He's the man who did it. So he's an expert in this area, and he thinks 80% of business will continue to be done online in the near future. And he even goes on to say that the power of the giant company is on the decline as more small businesses get exposure with the internet. And that's the interesting thing that's happening. We still have an advantage. We're not getting swamped necessarily by the big companies. In fact, they're having to work harder to compete. So with your own online business, you can actually have a part in this incredible potential. So let's take a few polls. All right. And I have some polls ready. I haven't used this feature yet. So let's see if I can get these going. All right. So what are you doing now? How many of you are either working full time? Got a couple of polls here for it, and I just launched it. So what are you doing now? You've got a few seconds. Are you working full time, working part time, staying at home to care for family, and going to school or trade, for a trade or degree? And just go ahead and click that. Okay, working full time. Okay, one of you has a business. You wanted a business, but you're still looking for the right one. Okay. Everybody wants more financial options. Great, great, excellent, excellent. So there's the results. Let's go and take a look at the results of the poll. Okay, so why start online? There's 3 reasons. It's affordable. It actually costs less to start an online business, brick and mortar businesses, or even like the food trucks. Even doing a food truck can be like $20,000. I mean, you think of that, it's mobile, doesn't have a lot of infrastructure, but you're still talking about $20,000 on average, depending on the kind of food truck. So it's simple, not a lot of regulations, and it can be very profitable. So starting your own business part-time has its many benefits, but most businesses can have a really steep learning curve and require large investments. That's why we recommend that you consider using a proven turnkey system with a reputable supplier. That reputable supplier is key. And the system that I use to help me find customers and build online is called the Freedom Project. There's a lot of reasons why I've chosen this as my marketing system and the way that I do it online. I was telling somebody today who's exploring working with us that back in the day before the internet, I was a big user of conference calls and audio information and one-on-one calls and 3-way calls. And I did that because as a mother with 5 children at the time and homeschooling, I wanted to reach out to people and connect with people, but I was not able because of the babysitting. I mean, 5 kids babysitting, I mean, right there, right? I wasn't able to go around and drive all over town. I just couldn't do it. You know what? A lot of the people I worked with didn't really want to drive all over town too. So they were willing to work with me by phone. That's how we used to do it before we did it the way we're doing it now online. So in a nutshell, the Freedom Project gives you all the tools, the training, and the processes started to grow a mini office outlet working from your home computer. And what is really fascinating about this is how many, you guys, I know you've all heard of Amazon. How many of you guys have heard of the QVC shopping channel? Right, it stands for calling. It's one of the first TV shopping channels, right? Now there's several. I think they're buying each other out. But what was really interesting is Amazon wanted to take on the shopping channels and take over their business. Amazon's actually quite an aggressive competitor. And believe it or not, who do you think won? The home shopping channels or the Amazon? Put in the chat, who do you think won? Amazon or the shopping channel? Take a guess. And the winner is, hold on, okay, one person asked Amazon and one person, so it's split. So here's what really happened. Amazon left the market in this sector. The shopping channel beat them back. Isn't that amazing? I mean, I would have thought too, Amazon, doesn't everybody just want to kind of go online? Here's what the difference was. And this is such a strong advantage in what we do. The difference was the people that were shopping through the shopping channel wanted, because they have their hosts, you know, and they're demonstrating and they're talking and they're taking live questions, and it's very social. They wanted that community and they wanted that social interaction. And that was more important to them. Plus, I'm sure that the products were of good quality and reasonably priced. So those, but all things being equal, it was about community and social interaction. Okay, even amongst introverts, a little bit of social interaction. And that's the strength of combining the Freedom Project with our supplier, is we really sit right on that. So what's a mini office? It's simply an office in your home where you're going to work, and it's simple to set up. Here's what you're going to need: the spot to put your computer. It could be, I mean, I'm working now in my bucket list office, but for years I worked out of my converted spot in my garage. I worked on my dining room table or in the car or wherever. So you just need a spot for your computer. You do need a good internet connection. Reliable internet is key. A quality phone. So obviously you need to be able to call. And I know there's all kinds of different calling plans out there, but you need to be able to speak with people. And it's amazing how many people don't have printers anymore, but a printer. So you don't have to have previous experience because we provide the training, a small weekly time commitment, and that's actual guiding hours. It's actually working with people. No large financial risk. So one of the things that, and I kind of wish I had a screen because I don't always, well, let's talk about the market a little bit. The market that we're in is rapidly expanding. It is a non-stop consumable market. It addresses people's concerns about how they look, how they feel, how long they're going to live. And last year alone, this was a $200 billion market in North America. In fact, the one segment we're in, and I know both of you guys on the call here, you know this, is the youth market is expected to grow. The prestige skincare, natural skincare, anti-aging, that segment of prestige natural products, $40 billion in the next 5 years alone. I mean, that's through the roof. That's on top of the $200 billion that particular market segment already is. And if you want to see it, we just had a message given to us by Roger Barnett, the owner of our company, and he is actually investing in increasing our technological advantage, expanding some of these product lines, and really tapping into the top market trends to become the #1 wellness brand, not just about selling people stuff, but about being that holistic approach to health with people. It's absolutely, I'm very excited about it because it really gets back at what Dr. Shackley's dream was, which was to talk to the people. And the reason why he did business this way, as opposed to putting things up on a shelf, is he wanted people to have that community and have that connection. And that's exactly what we saw in that Amazon QVC thing, where it was the community beat out this anonymous purchasing. So what's in it for you? Well, one of the best things about having your own business is you are your own boss. So you decide how to live your life, when to show up. You can earn when to not show up. Like this week, my husband's coming home from a long business trip. And after a certain point, I'm shutting down the business. I didn't have to ask anybody's permission. I just set my own schedule. You can earn whatever you want. Most people want to earn between $1,000 to $3,000. We have people in our company earning, and this might sound pretty outrageous to you, but we have people in our company earning over $100,000 a month, and that's projected to grow. And we have people earning a couple $100 a month because that's all they want. So everything in between. You also get tax cuts. This is huge. This can save you several $1,000s and make most of the income that you earn your income, not the government's income. And you get all expense paid trips. This year, the trips are a cruise on one of Royal Caribbean's premier cruise ships, all expenses paid. And one of the tiers you can earn even gives you $1,500 in spending money. And the other trip is to Greece, all expense paid trip for two to Greece. And that's just phenomenal. I'm just excited about that. And then a car program, which is you can choose the car. So let me tell you, before we talk about how to operate a mini office outlet, we can scan this real quickly. I'll leave a message in the comment in the chat. So the best time for you to message me on Facebook. I can be reached a lot of different ways. But let me tell you what using the Freedom Project and how that segues with some of the hottest trends in online marketing. One of the trends is localization. People want the convenience of being online, but they also want to know who they're doing business with. And we are exactly at the intersection of that. Community, which I just talked about, being mobile. Our business is really flexible. You can do it on your smartphone. You can do it on your tablet. You can do it physically wherever you're at, so long as you've got an internet connection. And you can give them, I mean, we've got ways to just, somebody can request information and I can text them a digital catalog on the phone. I mean, very, very flexible and mobile. Email automation. Now, this is wonderful with the Freedom Project. When you get the Freedom Project, when you're doing business with us, it's one of the options we have in business. It will have all of your email marketing done, your newsletters done, and that frees you up to be with people instead of getting bogged down in all the details of creating that level of content. But speaking of content, they've already provided a lot of content for us and options also to personalize it and customize it so that it's your voice, and multiple channels. Working with the Freedom Project and with our partner, Shackley, we have multiple channels of exposure, multiple markets to approach, multiple ways to do that. So it really allows you to carve out what you want, the way you want, and actually make your business. I've got people who are focusing right now exclusively on the skincare. I've got people who are focusing on healthy weight and diabetes prevention. I've got people focusing on children's nutrition. I mean, it's just another one focusing on fitness. So, I mean, it's whatever. You can carve it out completely. If you haven't done so, go to my website, earnwithkaren.com. That's earnwithkaren.com, and take my free tour. And then there's a little mini movie there. You can opt in. That comes just to me. And then you're going to get a longer movie that explains a little bit more of what we do and how we do it, and allow you to create a free account so you can see for yourself the incredible marketing tool that we have. When you join and take a look at what we're doing more specifically, you're going to see the huge market potential that makes this worth investigating, the details about our 60-year-old supplier, Shackley, and an overview of our world-class products. And let me just say something right there. And I know Shackley's research and their quality control, and not only the research in terms of product development, but the research in terms of market, is so good that it can almost sound like hype. But we have the worldwide patents on a number of products, and we have more patented products and patented processes than any other marketing company in our field, and in some cases, even in traditional markets. So I have a couple of Facebook groups. For those of you on Facebook, I have my WomanWize Healthy Living, and I also have Exploring Shackley. And that's where we just talked. That one is dedicated specifically to being in a home business, being in a mobile business, and specifically with Shackley. The WomanWize Healthy Living is really more about products and healthy lifestyles. Okay, now to talk about the specials. If you're in either of those groups, if you could just help a girl out and just post what you liked best about what we did tonight. I'm getting ready. We're going to, I also have a hub site, WomanWize.com, WomanWize.com. And you'll see all my links to connect with me in the various platforms. and you'll also see my upcoming events. Right now we're doing two. Tonight we happen to have back-to-back webinars. We're doing two, a youth pop-up tonight and one tomorrow night. And then the first week of March, we are doing a 5x5 mini reset. And what a 5x5 is it's 5 products, 5 days. And it's a great detox, somewhat of a type of fast, but you're not hungry. And it will help you block some cravings, help you shed a little bit of weight. Oftentimes, one of the comments we hear the most is people lose the bloat and get clearer thinking and have more energy and sleep better and just overall feel better, and they feel like they're getting a handle again. That's look, our eating habits can sometimes kind of get a little out of whack, right? And so the 5x5 mini reset does just that. It kind of brings everything back in line. And if you're looking to do a longer healthy weight management program, it's a fabulous way to kind of get started and turbocharge it. So I appreciate so much for you coming and sharing your time with me. And just go to this link, yourfreedomproject.com/3reasons-WB, and you'll get the workbook that I promised. But I also promised that we would do live Q&A. And what questions can I answer for you? And I'd love your feedback about what you thought about tonight. Any questions about market share or how this really works? Chat to come up. Where to go? There it is. Oh, thanks, Deanna. Yeah, she said that she likes it's a clear overview of the business. Yeah, I think it's a really helpful that way. Thank you. All right, so I'm going to stop